As a little boy, between the age of 11 and 19 years old, I served time in about 4 major reformatories. By my 21st birthday, I was on my way to the Trenton State Prison in New Jersey. I was an intravenous heroin user for over 25 years of my life. I came to the crossroads of my life, faced with a 14 years, the life sentence. And I just about asked God to take my life. He said, no, son, I'm gonna make you do something you've never done before. I'm gonna make you ask me to help you. When I got out, I had never had a job before in my life. And a Jewish family gave me a job when nobody else did. I went back into the prisons and I was ministering prisons all over the state. The Lord had put it on my heart. Started multi-ethnic inner-city ministry, also started Exodus Homes.
The mission of Exodus Homes is to provide faith-based supportive housing. We have 73 beds. We're a holistic program. It's a housing program because people are homeless when they come. It's a case management system because everything that they don't have is what we want to make sure that they get. We're a transportation company. We run vehicles 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Maybe you've heard the old saying that for the want of a nail, a house was not built. And we say that for the want of a ride, someone couldn't get their life back because they just couldn't get there. And then we're a recovery program because within all of that, we have the meetings and the focus on what caused you to be addicted in the first place. And then we're an employment agency. We have our own enterprises, and then we have corporate partners in the community where we place our residents in their manufacturing facilities with the goal being that they will be hired permanent, full-time, with benefits. We're also a spiritual program as well, because the only way that it works is that a person have a psychic change and a spiritual awakening. It's housing, it's case management, it's transportation, it's recovery programs, it's employment, it's spirituality, and all of that serves them, spirit, soul, and body, to help make them whole again.
If the church doesn't engage, the crime rate will go up, the rate of recidivism will go up, because there's nobody at the gate, no keepers at the gate waiting for these men and women to return to our community. They need somebody to hold their hand as they're making those adjustments back into the community.
I grew up in Hickory. I had a lot of friends. I had a lot of fun. In high school, I was an outcast. The first time I used drugs, I think there was a lot of peer pressure with it. And then it just went to, I had to have it. I lost my house, my kids, my car, my job, all in the same week. Everything just went away. And I started getting in trouble. I was incarcerated, 14 months and 90 days in prison total. I decided it was time to do something different. I found my way to Exodus Homes when I was in Catawba County Jail. In that season of my life, I needed hope and strength. I needed a lived experience. I needed to see people that had already been through what I was going through. I felt completely hopeless when I got to Exodus, but then I got a job. They taught me coping skills. They taught me anger management, how to pay bills, how to communicate effectively, that my story is gonna help people. Today, my role at Exodus Homes is mainly peer support. I bring my lived experience to the table to show the newcomers and the residents that have been here for a while that recovery is possible. Moving into the future, I'm excited to get into the community. And right now, I'm working with an agency in North Carolina on a housing strategy for homeless people that are coming out of the congregate living situations. I want to make a difference. When I think about how far I've come, it feels like a dream. I feel like what I've accomplished was what I was supposed to do, and that's just really all there is to it.
Growing up, I was a very good athlete. I got a football scholarship. I get to college, and some guys were experimenting with marijuana in the shower before practice. It began to progress over the years, and then I had a traumatic experience in my life. My 14-year-old son was shot and killed. I went into a state of depression. I began using more drugs, and a guy comes in and offers me cocaine. And I became instantly addicted. Within 6 months' time, I had literally lost everything that I had worked so hard for. I became homeless. I contemplated suicide. Julian F. Keith Alcohol and Drug Treatment Center is where I went. And while I was there, 2 speakers from Exodus Homes came and spoke. I decided to go here. There was one meeting that I went to that it just kept pulling and tugging on my heart. It was Bible study. So I had been in recovery facilities before, but I never tried the spiritual aspect of it. And we were doing a study on the purpose-driven life. It was like God was speaking to me, revealing to me what my purpose was, that I was an educator and I could work well with at-risk kids. And so I created my own mentoring program. We were putting kids out in the community that were productive. That's how I got back in education. I thought I'd never teach again. Today, I've been the assistant principal at St. Stephen's High School for 9 years. I got married and we have a 6-year-old daughter. Having been in the program, I know what the program is about. So when I was asked, would I be on the board, to me it was like an honor. I knew what it was all about. The mission is me, and I am the mission. So I wanted to make sure that I was able to play a part in that.
Over the past 25 years, I have seen miracle upon miracle of people who come in broken. They have nothing. They've lost everything. They need everything. And to see how God puts them back together again, to see them become whole, become, productive, law-abiding, tax-paying citizens who are reunited with their families again, who have vision and goals for their lives. There's no greater blessing for me than seeing people get on their feet and get their life back.
My faith and what I've been through and what I've seen God do with me and what have you, and I've seen him do with countless others, the changes that you can make in people's lives, and not only in folks' lives, but even in the community. So when I see what we've done, I can't think of anything else that I would rather be doing.